Hello everyone, Johnny Miner here. Sorry that I'm slightly later than usual. There was also OBS's update. But yeah, today we're continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we continued All Moon, so yeah, today we'll still do that. We're still in it. We have found the ladder to another floor, but yeah, we haven't taken it. Like last time, we actually have to see first and foremost what the trainer has to say, because we defeated it at the end of the previous episode. Okay, without further ado, let's start. Yeah, nothing new in the summary. The PC there buying the items, exiting Mount Moon, but yeah, from the same side we entered. Yeah, and actually there was also in the same there about healing at the Pokémon Center. Other items, the repels. And yeah, we saved in front of this trainer, and yeah, he should be the one we had to see what he had to say. Yeah, let's do that. And yeah, we kept it because it's slightly longer what he has to say, and also it's actually funny. Yeah, he says, Onna no ko ni itoko miseyoto, and then continues, but we have first to check what he says here. We could actually stop first at the Onna no ko ni, then send it lower to see better what he has to say. But yeah, Onna no ko, we have seen it before at the start of this very series. Not exactly the very start, but one of the first parts, when we created our character, because it asked us the classic question by Professor Oak or other professors in Pokemon games. Are you a boy or are you a girl? Yeah, in Japanese, it asks, the options are Otoko no ko, the one we've chosen. The other one is Onna no ko, and yeah, literally we have the kanji for woman, possessive particle no, and then ko, child, and yeah, we have now studied even its kanji thanks to the other current Let's Learn Japanese with the series Kairu no Tame ni Kane wa Naru. So yeah. What's worth mentioning again is that the accent of well, ko, as you have seen, unaccented, but yeah, that doesn't interest us for this. Onna, accented on the last mora, and in this case it actually is kept, despite the usual rule of the possessive particle no, which makes words accent on the last syllable, so yeah, last mora or as a syllable. So actually, if there's a long vowel or moral nasal and the vowel before those is accented, that also becomes unaccented. That's the rule of the possessive particle no. But in some compounds, like this one, it isn't applied. Maybe because, well, this is considered kind of like a compound, even though there is a possessive particle in the middle, a fixed word. Maybe because of that. Yeah, that's it. So, Onna no ko. The accent stays on the na of Onna. Then we have the particle ni, tu. We'll see in which sense exactly when we see the rest of the sentence. And honestly, at this point, since it was only that, we can send it above, so we can see the rest. So yeah, it says I toko miseyoto, konna toko made kichatta. So yeah, first we have I, the adjective, which means good. Then we have toko. More than toko, we have seen so far the full form tokoro. Nowadays, in the standard word in Japan, the basic word in standard Japanese nowadays is tokoro. Toko is an abbreviation. Tokoro and accent toko, accent on the last one, so be careful about that. The meaning is the same, so yeah, it's the usual word for place, spot, scene, and so on. Place, the fundamental meaning. So yeah, literally it says good place, but yeah, in the sense good side, yeah, you see in what sense in a second, but when we fully translate it, but yeah. Yeah, one's aspect, yeah, that's the better word, but yeah, side in that sense. Then we have the verb miseyo, and now we have even studied this kanji. It's the usual from miru, technically, originally, to see, to look at, to watch. Miseru is to show. Most certainly, actually, related to accusative form. Could be accusative form in classical Japanese, or at the very least related. So yeah, if you make it so that someone looks, yeah, you show them. So in that sense, accented. But yeah, we have now studied it also its kanji. So yeah, ru verb is some verb, so we can drop the ru. In this case, to add yo u, so actually long yo, that's the usual rule. O u, long o in contemporary Japanese, which is the evolution form. So yeah, either let's, or I'm the speaker is willing to do the action of the verb. Here, it's in the latter sense, although in a somewhat more particular way, as we see in a sense. But yeah, after it we have to, which I suspect in this case actually on its own you could say simply the a conditional form, but it's after a verb, so as usual for those. But we have seen before, maybe even in this very series, this form where we use the evolutional form of a verb, to, as the quotation particle actually, so with, and then technical quotation, and then the verb suru. So yeah, when we have a evolution of verb to suru, we get the meaning to try to, or to be about to do. After the dictionary form of a verb, to suru gets the meaning to decide to do the action of the verb. But yeah, so I suspect it's actually in this sense, and you see it. It makes sense based on how we will translate it. more than, but if that's the case, technically there is an implied suru. Wouldn't be weird, technically, because, as we have seen already with Tokoro, we have a contraction there, Toko. Quite plausible also in that sense. But after it we have Konna. This is the usual contraction, but this is the used so often instead of Kono Yona, because that's too long. Kono Yona, literally this kind of an adjective, but then gets contracted, we get this form Konna. Kono, the reminder, also part of the Kosodo series, Ko close to both the speaker and the listener. So far from the speaker, close to the listener, far from both. Do, the interrogative, Koso are usually an accented do, accent on do itself. Kono, the demonstrative adjective, and then we have yo, form, style, way, and so. Then also kind in this case, so this kind of, and then simply all contract, and we have Konna. An adjective, and so after it we have another noun, and it's again Toko, but in this case, literally, so we had the first Toko as in place, figuratively, as in a side aspect of someone. Here we have literally place. Then we have the particle made, up to, as far as, can be both physically, for a location, up to a certain place, or temporal, up to a certain point. Last but not least, we have the verb kitsatta, from kuru, to come. Unfortunately, completely irregular, so we have to remember that its continuative form is ki, and then we can attach the te form to the te to make to make the te form. In this case, to then add the verb shimau. Shimau. Verb, go and verb, so we can change to make that a form, we have to follow the rules. It's in U as straight up its final mora, and so it becomes double consonant. Again, as usual, these verbs in the U as straight up the final mora were actually in Pu. So we change the U into I, shimapi, go to the form to attach the ta. Shimapita, but I fell. Shimapta, difficult to pronounce, double consonant ta, because it's easier to pronounce. So kite shimaimashita, kite shimatta, was going for the polite form there. And then we have contractions. Kite mau, shimatta in this case. Kichi, matta, and then chimatta, chima becomes cha. So kichata because of that. And as a reminder that the form, when we use shimau, which means to end, to finish, also has other meanings, but these are the fundamental ones. After that, the form of a verb is an auxiliary with the meanings to finish, as in doing completely the action of the verb in te, or more often end up doing the action of the verb in te to accidentally, and so on. So here he's saying I came up to this kind of place because implied, because we could say, we would have to add something in English. I tried to show my good side aspect to girls. So Yeah, it was longer, and we hadn't checked it last time because of this. But also, yeah, it's funny. So yeah, it was a nice way to start this episode. Okay, yeah. So now that we have checked this, we can continue. Here to the left first. Okay, we have also that who I do think is a trainer, unless it's simply an NPC in this case. Oh yeah, first let's okay. We send Pikachu for now. Oof, our Pokemon are quite hurting actually. We could use technically some potions, but I think it makes sense, especially considering that something should happen relatively soon, to go back to the Pokémon Center, but we'll see. Yeah, I use quick attack here. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we have, yeah, we have also this set of this ladder. So yeah, we have two potential exits here. And yeah, you might guess now that I'm mentioning it here, but yeah, if you look at the screen, you can guess what's about to happen. You might. So yeah. Considering that, then I'd say it makes more sense to go back to the Pokémon Center. Okay, we're paralyzed. Amazing. I think we had seen, well, with an opponent Pokemon, but I think it's more or less the same, so I won't waste time explaining that. Yeah, I simply said as usual that the Pokemon is paralyzed and so can't move. Okay, we found these. Yeah, I have to show it. Well, we could technically wait. But yeah, this is quite notable, and so we'll get it out of the way anyway. We found that Tsuki no Ishi. And yeah, Tsuki, you should remember, also we studied its kanji, Moon. We found it also, it's in the name of Mount Moon, of course. Accent on the Rasmora on its own. Here it should become unaccented because of the rule of the possessive particle. Okay. Should be fine. Possessive particle, no. Ishi, we have seen it in this very series. It means rock. Well, there's another there are other ones, but yeah, no, this is definitely Ishi as in rock, stone. And yeah, so it's the Moonstone, as you might could have guessed, also based on the icon there. And so, yeah, I want to let's say we should check its description here. Aru tokutei no Pokémon no shinka saseru fushigi na ishi. Yeah, funny enough, actually. We have first and foremost Aru, which we also studied its kanji, thanks to the other series. Yeah, this isn't strictly speaking the verb Aru, as in to be, as in to exist, of inanimate things on its own. So objects, concepts, and so on. This is the related, because most most certainly the origin is the same, but yeah, this is the one used before a noun with the meaning on its own without a relative clause, other things, with the meaning a certain. So yeah, you can see from a certain something that exists by extension, yeah, a certain something. That's the origin, most likely. But yeah, so we have that Aru. Then we have Tokute. Tokute is Chinese compound, as you might have guessed. An accent, like usual, like most of those are. As a reminder, of course, we have the U of Ku, voiced consonants, A pronounced as long E in standard Japanese usually, but it can also still be pronounced as A. Then we have the possessive particle no, and yeah, it's one of the technically a noun. But yeah, one of those that takes the possessive particle no to make in practice an adjective. And yeah, the meanings of these are specific, particular, and so on. And yeah, after this we have Pokémon, so yeah, specific Pokémon. We have the object particle O written as one, pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. Then we have Shinka, Saseru, technically. But yeah, Shinka, we have already seen it, quite an important term for Pokemon games because it means evolution. The Ka, we have even studied its kanji because it's the kanji which means to change. To become, change fundamental meaning or taking the form of and so on. Turn into, we could say. But yeah. So yeah, evolution, Chinese compound, but accent on the first more, like it's the second most common accent for those. Again a noun, but we can turn it into a verb by adding suru, a verb which means to do. So yeah, to do. Evolution, so yeah, to evolve. Here we change suru into saseru. Suru is completely regular, like kuru. So we have to remember that we have to change suru into saseru to make the causative form. Yeah, saseru is the causative form of the verb suru. So yeah, to make someone do the action of the verb. So in our case here, make the Pokemon, those specific Pokemon, evolve. Then we have Fushigi. Yeah, we have seen it, I think, also in this series. Relatively recently. Maybe I'm confusing it with the other one. Fushigi means strange, curious, mysterious. Again, actually, contraction of Fukashigi. That one accent on the ka. This one unaccented, so be careful. Yeah, literally that can be thought and comprehended or something along those lines. So yeah, you can see then from that why it becomes with the meanings strange, curious, mysterious, and so on. Incredible, even closer technically to the Japanese word. Na adjective, as we can see here. So yeah, we have the na straight up, and so the following noun then ishi again. So yeah, again stone. So yeah, here it says an incredible however you want to translate that mysterious stone that makes certain Pokemon evolve. So yeah, that's the description so far. And then, last but not least, I suspect that this first part will be shared by all the stones, so it will be pretty convenient then. But then we have the final part that's specific to this one, which says Yozora no Yoni Kuroi. First and foremost, we have Yozora, a compound, a strictly Japanese compound. We have Yo, which means the word for night, while actually nowadays we use more Yoru on its own. Yo is a shorter form, but yeah, you can see Yoru accented. Also Yo on its own technically accented. And then we have this Sora here with the voicing, the additional duck 10, because it's the second part of a compound is of strictly Japanese origin, that more often than not happens to those. And yeah, Sora, actually Sora, accent on the first Mora, funny enough, also rhymes, sky, cioè literally the night sky. Possessive particle no. Yo. In this case, technically, when used after a noun, like in this case, it would originally be simply a noun form style as mentioned, but also used after nouns with the meaning like. So yeah, like the night sky. And yeah, when used like this, then usually we have the particle ni. Suspect actually that this ni, more than a particle, would be the continuative form of nari, the classical copula, from which the na we have seen in na adjectives also comes from, with a contraction. But yeah, ni is the continuative form, so here would literally be being like the night sky, in the sense, and then simply like the night sky. And then last but not least, Kuroi. Kuroi means black. It's the adjective which means black. Should be accented, but I'll check. Okay. Yeah, it is, because actually these basic colors with which have E adjectives, we have mentioned Shiroi also, I think white, Kuroi here black, Aoi we should have mentioned blue, also green in certain contexts, but yeah, we won't repeat that. Most of those, or the ones I've mentioned so far, accented. The one, funny enough, that we have studied thanks to this very series that started straight up in the title, Akai, the adjective, is the exception, which is an accent, so yeah. Wanted to incidentally mention that, but yeah, here simply it's saying, so yeah, it's black like the night sky. We could technically use it, but we don't strictly need to do so right now. Okay, I'd say it makes the most sense going back, because yeah, here soon enough, as you see, something should happen, then it makes sense to heal at we can straight up use this, no since yeah, it's 4 times effective because it's ground rock, Geodude. Yeah. This happened, Metapod got to level 10, and so yeah, it evolves. So yeah, considering also these, yeah, now we'll check also its Pokédex page, but yeah, then we'll exit. I'm tempted to use an escape rope, although I don't think we've checked its name. We might do so and then use it. Or we could endure it for now and keep that if we need it later. Okay, we unlocked. Well, it evolved. It has learned, here says, Nenriki. Nenriki should be actually, I think, confusion in English. Because, yeah, Nenriki in Japanese, it's a Chinese compound, unaccented, like most of those, which, yeah, the usual meaning you would use nowadays would be simply willpower or faith. Oh yeah, the other meaning is actually telekinesis, psychokinesis. So yeah, considering that, yeah, it should be a psychic attack, a psychic move. Again, if I recall correctly, Butterfree learns confusion. Yeah, that's also the basic psychic attack anyway. So yeah. So yeah, learned that. Yeah, again, it doesn't show up immediately the Pokédex, so we have to open it ourselves. Yeah, the category is as usual the forest of the page of the Pokédex in which we can find these and the other Pokémon is the forest Pokémon, this Morino Pokémon on the top. Yeah, the name Butterfree, yeah, it's same as in English. Although, okay, we haven't had. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I wanted to check also what Bulbapedia says, but yeah, first and foremost, clearly from butterfly, potentially free, as shown also in the English name, free. Possibly Pata, which is the onomatopoeia in Japanese, accenting the first mora, as usually for these onomatopoeias repeated twice. The flapping. Technically, even though I don't think it's usually used, by adding the voiced consonant technically would mean a stronger one, but yeah, I think here it's would simply be a coincidence, because they first and foremost clearly want it comes from butterfly, clearly. But yeah, could be also that. Bulbapedia also mentions incidentally the verb furu, which means to flap, or other various meanings, but yeah, fundamentally, technically, to wave, to shake, and then yeah, from extension from that to flap. But yeah, so all these we have seen actually Butterfree before in Pokemon Snap, so this is a review of that. The category. Sorry. Okay. The category of the Pokemon is Cho-Cho. And yeah, the word cho usually with long vowel, both o long, but there is also this variant. Technically, usually both long because it's simply the same word repeated twice. But yeah, it's the term in Japanese for butterfly. So yeah, you can straight up simply says butterfly Pokemon. The accent is on the first more, regardless of the longer vowel or not of the second one. Cho or cho. And then we have the description. Hane wa mizu o hajiku rinpun ni mamoreteiru. And yeah, first and foremost we have hane, which is wings. The term for wings. We might have seen it before, but I'm not completely sure. The accent is unaccented. I think we might have seen it because I mentioned that incidentally that technically there's the word ha, which on its own would be well, hane actually would be technically feather, but yeah, then also wing by extension. But yeah, there's also ha. Hane technically is a compound, that's the word for root. But yeah, nowadays the one used is usually hane, to avoid confusion. Then we have the topic particle where it has ha. So yeah, as for implied its wings. Then we have mizu, water, unaccented. Especially cool or cold, because there's the other word for hot water, which is yu in Japanese. Should be accented, that yes it is. But yeah, so here we have mizu, the more generic water technically. Then we have the object particle o. We have hajiku, which is a verb. It has several meanings, but yeah, in this context is the one which means to repel. Most likely from technically its first meaning would be leap, snap, flick. By extension then to repel. But yeah. So yeah, to repel here, accented. After it we have a noun, so yeah, actually it's another relative clause as usual. So the mizu o hajiku is the relative clause, modifying the following noun, which is rinpun. Rinpun is a Chinese compound, as you might have guessed, which technically would mean first scale, but yeah, as in actually wing scale, in this case. Yeah, it's in entomology. Unaccented, yeah, like usually Chinese compounds are. Then we have the particle ni. In this case, as we see, it has the meaning by, not one of its most typical meanings of this particle. The fundamental one we have seen is to. But yeah, it's used also with a certain kind of verbs. We see which one. With then the meaning by, and yeah, you will see why in a second. Yeah, the verb is mamorarete iru. Comes from mamoru, to protect. Fundamental meaning, to guard, to defend, and so on. accented. I think we have seen it before, but because I feel like I've mentioned also that it's the name of a certain character in Sailor Moon in Japanese, but yeah. Mamoru, so U verb, colon verb, so we can change the U into A and then add re, ru. Here the ru can be seen because of further conjugation to make the passive form of the verb. So yeah, be protected. And now you can see why we have then the by. And yeah, to specify the agent, the by we use the particle ni in Japanese. So yeah, unfortunately you have to remember that it works like that. The passive form of verbs is a ru verb, incident verb. So we can then simply drop the ru to make the continuative form, to attach the te and make the te form again. In this case, to add then iru. Iru on its own, unaccented, means to be assumed to exist of animate things, people and animals. But when used after the te form of verbs, becomes an auxiliary with the meaning continuing action or state. So yeah, to be doing the action of the verb in te, or to have add whatever the meaning of the verb in te is. So yeah, here it's saying, as for its implied wings, they are protected by scales that repel water. So yeah, pretty that's this, and yeah, you have seen the relative clause also in action then. And then the second part says Ame no hi demo Sora o tobu koto ga dekiru. Yeah, first and foremost we have Ame. I think we have found, actually in this very series, because of another item, we have found the term Ame, an accented candy. Yeah, no, this one is the other one I mentioned when we found that Ame accented, most definitely based on the context, accent on the first mora, which means rain. Then we have the possessive particle no. Then we have he, based on the context of rain. Yeah, you can guess that fire doesn't make sense. The he, which would be accented. So this is the one, he unaccented, which means originally sun, but yeah, then usually nowadays days. So yeah, rainy days, we could also say, but yeah, literally days of rain. Day or days. While there are ways to specify the plural in Japanese with pluralizing suffixes and so on, it isn't strictly required. So yeah, words as they are can be used for both the singular and plural. Like in this case, it is, I would say, days in the plural because it's in general, so in days of rain. Then we have the particle demo, which means also even. Better even specifically. We have seen that it's technically a compound of de. In this case, I'd say actually more than a particle, most likely the te form of the copula, so being like that. And then we have the inclusive particle mo, which on its own means also even, but yeah. So literally it would be even being like that. But then nowadays, yeah, it's usually used demo as is considered a particle, as is without it. But the origin is most certainly that. After that, we have Sora again. So yeah, Sky, the object particle O. Tobu, the verb which means to fly. Also to jump, to fly, to soar. Yeah, also to jump. Most likely because technically to start flying, you technically first jump. So yeah. But yeah, they use. You can technically use a different kanji to specify more to jump, but yeah, not necessarily. And the Japanese term is anyway related because yeah, they use the same reading, tobu unaccented. But yeah, so yeah, in this case, soar the sky. Then we have koto, a noun. So yeah, technically once more a relative clause. But yeah, this koto means thing as in matter. It's actually a nominalizer for verbs. So yeah, the fact, the matter of flying, so on. Then we have the subject particle ga. And last but not least, we have the verb the kiru. The kiru means to be able to do the action of the verb, to be able to do. And is used also in this structure here, verb in its dictionary form, koto ga de kiru, to make the potential form of verbs, of other verbs. Yeah. There's also, to make the potential form, we can straight up conjugate verbs, most verbs. This one might be somewhat more formal, considering that it's also longer, as you can see here. The potential form of tobu would be toberu, much shorter. But yeah, both at the end of the day mean fundamentally can do the action of the verb. So yeah, here it's saying, yeah, more literally we could say it's possible. The fact, the matter of doing, of flying, of soaring the sky. Yeah, then we can simply translate. It can soar the sky even in days of rain, rainy days. So yeah, we've checked the Pokédex entry of Butterfree. Okay. Okay, I'd say we can do this then. We'll quickly go back. I was thinking of using that item, but honestly it doesn't make sense. We could quickly go back to the Pokémon Center by exiting here Mount Moon. We'll heal. We'll definitely take our usual short break after that, so that 2 or at most 3 minutes as usual, let's say. But yeah, so that when we are back we can continue Mount Moon. Okay, actually here I made a mistake also. But yeah. Yeah, I'm keeping the escape rope for 2 reasons. We haven't checked its description, so yeah, I would like to do that first before using it. But also, technically, I would also prefer keeping it for later in case we need. And yeah, anyway, notice that apart from me, I even took a wrong turn. And yeah, we exited it anyway. Yeah, here we are. Let's heal. And yeah, by the way, so I wanted to come back to the Pokémon Center other than our Pokémon were pretty hurting anyway. Instead of using potions or anything like that, to put away Butterfree, since it's evolved now. Would like to put some slight order here. Yeah, like these are evolved. We need that for one of these for this. The Pokemon that we have two of them, it's because of the in-game trades. Instead of the Butterfree, I think we can actually take. Let me see. I don't think actually it has any particular moves currently, but I'd say the one that makes the most sense for now is Paras, to have some variety. Yeah, I'd say Paras makes the most sense. And also luckily it's somewhat stronger than some of the Pokemon here. Oh yeah, so with that we can come back here. And yeah, we'll take our usual break now. When we'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes, we'll continue Mount Moon. Yeah, we'll re-enter it and then continue it. So yeah, see you then. And we are back. And yeah, so we can continue. And yeah, we can re-enter Mal Moon. And yeah, I waited to show again that graphic, which is exclusive to FireRed and Leaf Green. Yeah, pretty cool addition to these remakes. But yeah, and by the way, we can run here. Okay, I would like to... well, Rattata actually also works. I'll get from Paras the item here, a small mushroom, but yeah, we'll check it that another time. Okay. And yeah, let's go back. Okay, actually, first and foremost, well, this will quickly defeat just for the experience, and honestly, especially when I have those low-level Pokemon in front, we risk failing to escape, and so yeah, honestly, at that point it's better to straight up defeat them. We have a ladder also straight up here, and again some wild Pokemon here. When we get closer, we'll consider also using the repairs, but we only have 3. We'll only purchase those. Luckily, we can send all these Pokemon. Our strongest Pokemon are the perfect counters for most of these. Well, actually, all of these wild Pokemon. So, yeah, again, makes that way easier. But yeah, now we can try going down these ladders. And yeah, there is showed that, well, of course, we also based on the graphic of the ladder, yeah, we went down. So yeah, we're checking this one first. We'll defeat, and yeah, as I was saying, all the counters, yeah, for Paras, bug type, yeah, we have flying with the PG. But yeah, actually we have down here this who says Pokémon Mafia Rocketto Danwa. So yeah, Pokémon, of course, from Pokémon. Mafia. So yeah, Mafia. The accent in Japanese is like in Italian. Yeah. Technically, then also English and so on. But yeah, on the map. And then we have Rocketto Dan. Yeah, we have seen them before that. Literally group, rocket group. Dan is for is a suffix for group, party, gang. Yeah, gang is the most appropriate here technically, and then they translated it simply as team. Rocket. Notice the doubling of the consonant of the Rocketto as a reminder of that. And also, by the way, that's even more. Also, the accent instead of rocket on the ro, it moves in Japanese on the ke. So be careful about that. It's one of those words that acts like that. if I recall correctly, before with the dan as the suffix should the accent should be before dan itself. So yeah, Rocketto dan. Let me quickly check. Got the physical dictionary as usual for that, but yeah, while we have seen it before, I want to make it sure just to be to review it, but yeah, it should be like that. And yeah, found it immediately before done. Yeah, one of the typical accents for these suffixes. I'd say maybe the most typical, but there are some variations. Then we have the topic part. Go why as usual, so yeah. So far is simply as for the Pokémon Mafia Team Rocket. Then says Kowakte Tsuyoi no da. Kowakte comes from Kawaii, which means scary. The adjective accented. So yeah, we can drop the E and add Ku to make the continuative form of the adjectives. Could also be called the adverbial form in their case, because it also is used for to make the corresponding adverbs. But yeah, I'd say more in general continuative form. Also for the reason we can see here, because yeah, you can attach then the to that form to make the form of the adjectives. Here in their most typical usage on their own, so yeah, to what in this case the adjective says and the rest of the sentence, although usually more to combine two adjectives. So yeah, here scary. The accent of the should move. So yeah, instead of kawaii, it should move on the ko. Kowakte. Also the U of ku is barely heard, if at all, because it's between voice consonants. Tsuyoi, strong, that we have definitely seen before in this series. And then last but not least, no. Nominalizer for verbs or also adjectives, technically, thing as in fact. And then the copula da in plain speech. But as we have seen, this structure no da or no des in polite speech, literally it is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that, and yeah, so actually quite used in Japanese when yeah, someone is explaining is something. So yeah, here yeah, it's saying as for the Pokémon Mafia Team Rocket, it is that it's scary and strong. And yeah, so we start the fight against here Rocket Dan. Again, Rocketto Dan. And by the way, yeah, it's straight up simply the trainer class Rocketto Dan, so yeah, Team Rocket in general. No, actually, I think it's full in this case. The confusion here is because of this. Usually, the trainer, the structure is trainer class, possessive particle no, name of the trainer, given name. But yeah, here I think the possessive part, there's the possessive particle of the Rocketto Dan. And yeah, then we have this Shitappa. Which we have actually seen and even studied this kanji of Shita it's technically a compound noun. Stappa. Sta, with the E barely heard if at all because it's between avoid consonants. Unaccented on its own means low, below, down, and so on, but yeah, under. And then we had this, there's also this small su with the doubling of the following consonant here in between. But then we had this ha, this pa here. So actually in its original form, as you might remember for the verbs we mentioned in u, which were originally in pu. But yeah, also here pa, we originally had pa, pi, pu, pe, po. And then they changed, either became w in between, in the middle of words, wa, we, u, that is simply drop, we, wo. And then only one remained technically in Japanese nowadays. Otherwise, they became at the start of words ha, hi, hu, he, ha, hi, hu, he, ho, the hagyo, the haro. Yeah. But yeah, here it remains. But yeah, this ha actually, this pa here is and uses the same kanji if written with kanji as hashi. Hashi, the one unaccented, which means end, tip, point, edge, margin, and so on, other extended meanings, but yeah. Fundamentally, I'd say the fundamental one, edge, and then the other ones. But yeah, originally that hashi, now pronounced hashi, was hashi. So yeah, then you can see how this contracted form pa is related. But yeah, so from low, down, and so on, plus and, in this case we could say edge, and so on. You can see how this is the term for underling, person of low standing, and so granted. Yeah, underling is better. It's not a case that also the online dictionary mentions it as the first translation, because yeah, it's straight up also uses the term under. So yeah, in this case we don't have a proper name. Unsurprisingly, of course they aren't going to say their names to random kids or anyone. Yeah, so it's simply Team Rocket, underling, grant is the English translation, I think. Subject, particle, guy, and yeah, the rest is the usual translation of this. So yeah, challenge you to a match, to a fight, to a Pokemon battle, better. But yeah, we can send Bulbasaur. Yeah, we have a Sando, this we have already seen, science through. Yeah, in Japanese, as I remind, yeah, straight up simply called Sando, sand. Most certainly actually a contraction of a shorter also for compared to the Japanese name of Sand/as we. I think I mentioned incidentally when we found it for the first time, but we'll see it again when we find that. Since then, Aratata. Okay. In this case, I send Mankey directly. I don't want to risk it. Consider Mankey also is somewhat lower in level. Yeah. Good call. And yeah, we use our usual fighting move here. And yeah, we'll have some healing to do, but in this case, most likely we will do it simply with potions. Okay, perfect. Also the Ratata down. By keeping only Mankey. Oh, nice. Also learns. Yeah, this is now a new move. Which we shouldn't have seen before. So yeah, let's mention it quickly. Yeah, it's Karate Chop. So yeah, straight up like in English, I think Karate Chop. But yeah, we can mention Karate. Yeah, it's the martial art. Literally, it's a compound from Kara, accent on the last mora, on its own, which means empty. Emptiness, actually, first and foremost, because first it's a noun that can also be used technically as an adjective with the possessive particle no as usual. But yeah, first technically a noun, emptiness, and then empty in that other usage. And then we have te, and yeah, te we have even studied this kanji, means a hand accented on its own. So yeah, karate, which is in Japanese, by the way, an accent. So yeah, karate, low, high, high, and will stay high even if we added a particle. Literally means empty hand, because yeah, of course, because of it doesn't use, well, technically, fundamentally it doesn't use weapons. Yeah, it's a martial art of that kind. But yeah, and then we have Choppu. Yeah, chop from English. Notice only the doubling of the consonant, unlike in English. Well, as usual, the additional U, because most consonants can stay on their own in Japanese, so yeah, choppu. The accent is like in English, so on the chop. Chop. Yeah, by the way, also chop, pork, lamb, and so on. But yeah, in our case here, as in a move, all the meanings, yeah, various meanings like in English. So yeah, I learned the Karate Chop. Actually great. Last but not least, Sense as Zubat. Yeah. Unsurprisingly, typical Pokemon of Team Rocket, as we'll see. Okay. Yeah, here we can use this as usual. Our in English, I think it's called Thunderbolt. I might be confusing it. Yeah, in Japanese it's simply electric shock, Denki shock. Okay. We are confused. I don't remember if we have seen confusion in practice before, so let me actually show it quickly. Although I think, yeah, we have seen the move Chompa for sure. Maybe it actually wasn't effective last time because of an ability. I don't remember that. But yeah, anyway, here it says Pikachu wa Konran shita. Pikachu, the name of our Pokemon, topic particle wa. Konran, which is a Chinese compound. As a reminder, Chinese compounds, I actually didn't mention it today yet. I haven't mentioned it yet. By Chinese compounds, I usually mean the most common ones, which are simply two kanji. there can be bigger ones, and we have found them, but in short, to make it shorter, usually, Chinese compounds, I usually refer to these, the most common ones, simply to kanji. And Conran, an accent like most of those are, disorder, chaos, confusion, in our case, better. I think we have mentioned it, by the way, so yeah. And then simply the verb suru in its staff form, shita. What I don't think we have seen before, though, potentially, is when you then try to attack, it says again Pikachu wa Konran shiteiru. So it simply changes instead of the verb shita, the ta form of the verb suru, we have the te form shite conjugated in the same way. We suru completely regular, we have the shi, which is the conjugative form, and then we attach the te to it, or the ta, depending on which form we are making. Te form required because then we had the iru, so yeah, continuing action or state. Has been confused would be better, so continuing state technically in this case. But yeah, then it worked, so yeah, we don't have to worry. And yeah, we defeated the Zubat. Pikachu goes to level 12, great. And then yeah, here the grant says Shikuji Taka. Which comes from a verb shikujiru. Accented, means to fail, to blunder, to mess up, to screw up. It is, despite being in Iru, U verb, codon verb, because yeah, the verbs in Iru and Eru usually are Ru verbs, instant verbs, but there are some exceptions, and yeah, you simply have to remember which these exceptions, although when finding them conjugated, like in this case, yeah, then you can immediately tell, because yeah, Ru verbs, instant verbs, as we have seen, I should have seen at least some today, simply drop the Ru and then attach te or ta. U verbs, codon verbs have to follow the rules. And yeah, in this case, it ends in Ru, so it becomes double consonant ta. Again, because originally it changed the U into I to make the continuative form Shikuji ri, attach the ta. But then the I fell, so yeah, Shikujir ta, difficult to pronounce, so became simply double consonant ta. So yeah, past ta form, so past form of the verb in plain speech. So yeah, last but not least, ka, which is the interrogative particle, so yeah, usually used to make questions technically. But notice how we have an exclamation mark after it. So yeah, it's in the here it's more in the sense of how did I fail, or something along these lines. Okay, simply in the sense, yeah, that here is not, it can't believe that he failed, but yeah, that's what happened, or something along these lines. But yeah, let's see what he has to say after. Yeah, first and foremost, unsurprisingly, considering the kind of character, says XO as the exclamation. XO is the exclamation for it's the term, one of the terms in Japanese for crap. So yeah, it's used also as an exclamation like that, like in English. Yeah, also the other one. So yeah, the accent, the U is barely heard if at all, as usual. The accent is accent on the last more, so yeah, XO. And yeah, heard also in anime, manga, video games, yeah. Then it says Nakamaga. Nakamaga damatsa ineso. First and foremost, we have Nakama. I think we have seen it before, but not in this series, maybe in a previous one. I think Mario World, actually, with Yoshi's companions. This is the term for companion, and so on. Technically also friend, not specifically the term for friend, but yeah. The fundamental meaning, I'd say more companion, and then all the other ones, partner, and so on. A compound from Naka, not the one we studied, this kanji, this is the one for Naka, for relationship. Relationship. A on its own, unaccented, means space. Also technically time, so yeah, an interval, we could say, either in a spatial or temporal sense. But yeah, so technically the space of the relationship, but yeah, then it means companion and so on. Its accent of Nakama is on the ma, on the last mora, could be because could be seen technically as the first mora of the second word part of the compound, which is a typical spot for the accent in compounds in general, and also these ones of strictly Japanese origin, even though there, unfortunately, there's more variance than elsewhere, so we can't immediately tell. Then we have the subject particle ga. Damatsa comes from Damaru. Damaru means to be silent, to say nothing. Should be accented, yes it is. Verb con verb, so we have to follow the rules to make that a form. Again, in rules, it becomes a double consonant te. Here we would then add wa, the topic particle, and then that gets contracted. Te wa becomes cha. But yeah, by adding the topic particle here after the form of a verb, well, in this case, it's the usage of the topic particle used with a negative, as we see in a second. Well, actually, not only that. Yeah, the Y is for that. The T form is required by another thing. But yeah, the topic particle is often used with also when in combination with negative verbs, because technically the topic what comes before the topic particle is known, and so the focus moves more on the negative of the form of the verb, so that a certain something isn't, doesn't do that. But yeah. That form required because actually we have Iru again, so continuing action or state. Iru, verb it's some verb. So we can drop the Ru to make in this case the Irialis not the state form of the verb. In contemporary Japanese we could say simply straight up negative base more easily. Because more often than not it's used to then add nai, the e adjective, which means non-existent, and because of that also used to make the negative form of verbs in plain speech, like in this case. Although then that nai gets contracted here, well, changes phonetically, technically. AE becomes long E, but that ne is simply nai. Technically, it should come from a dialect. Actually, I think straight up the Tokyo dialect in this case. But nowadays it's simply considered, well, it's an alternative form, clearly not more casual of this of the nai. Last but not least, we have the final sentence particle, so matter more language first and foremost, and adds force or indicates a command. Well, in this case, actually, straight up threatening technically, we could say, because here is saying implied my companions won't stay silent. But by the way, the present form of verbs in Japanese can be also used for a simple future. I'd say in this case it's in that sense. So literally, here we have the continuing action or state of the verb, as mentioned, in the negative. So don't be in the state that say better. No, actually, technically maybe a more continuing action. But regardless. Of being silent. So I wanted to mention that. So now you can see exactly why we use this. We have defeated our first Team Rocket underling. Of course, we encounter more. Our Pokemon here. We need some healing, even more so if we keep on getting hit here. But I would also like to switch around here to train also a little Paras here. Okay. We have found an item which we could check quickly. Yes, let's do it. This is another item that you can only find around. Technically also the one here we have from the Paras, but we can ignore that for now. This is Hoshino Kakera. You might have already guessed it based on the icon there if you have played other Pokemon games. But Hoshi, we've even studied this kanji thanks to Kirby games. It means a star, unaccented. Possessive particle no. And then we have Kakera. Kakera means fragment. Unaccented. fragment, broken piece, and so on. But yeah, fundamental meaning fragment. So I don't remember exactly the English term for this, but yeah. The description says Kira Kira to Akaku Hikaru Kire na Hoseki no Kakera. And yeah, Kira Kira first and foremost is an onomatopoeia, if it weren't clear by its sound and repetition, which means accented on the first more as those usually are, which means glittering, sparkling, and so on, twinkling. Cioè, actually, you can already see, yeah, typical of stars, for example. So, yeah. Yeah, being a particle, it's one of the. It uses the. We can find after it the particle to, with here in the as the quoting particle, as already mentioned. So yeah, technically with and before it the quotation, which in this case is straight up simply the onomatopoeia. But yeah, so with the to, then in practice we make the corresponding adverb. Then we have akaku, yeah, from akai, already mentioned, unaccented, it's the exception, red, the color, well, the adjective here, so yeah, red something. The noun red, we simply drop the e. Weirdly enough, it is accented then on the first mora, like the other colors. So yeah, it's only the e adjective form that it's unaccented for some reason. But yeah, we can drop the e to add the q to make the continuative form. But yeah, no, in this case it's to make the corresponding adverb. And yeah, we can see again the adverb like the kira kira to. Then we have the verb hikaru. You might have seen it before, I don't remember if also in this series. Hikaru means to shine, to glitter, to be bright technically. Fundamental meaning to shine. Actually accented, okay, so hikaru. Yeah, makes sense considering the corresponding noun. You might have actually heard of that hikari, which means light. Yeah, it's simply we change the u into e because it's a verb. It's u verb, code verb. So we can change the u into e to make the continuative form, and so also the corresponding noun, light. So, and is accented on the last more. So yeah, follows the rules. So yeah, also because of that, I should have guessed. Actually, I should have remembered that it's accented. After it, well, first we have another adjective, but as we see, eventually we get a noun, so another relative clause. But yeah, as I said, first we have another adjective, kire, na adjective, as we can see already, there's the na after it. It's a Chinese compound. Accent on the first mora, this one, so yeah, the second most common accent for those. Kire means pretty, lovely, beautiful, technically. More pretty, this one, technically. Also clean, tidy, neat. Yeah, here pretty, definitely, based on the context. And yeah, after that the na, so used as the adjective and then a following noun. But yeah, we don't find that yet because first we have Hoseki. Hoseki. Well, technically is a noun, but as we see here, it's not a noun. Everything is referred to here. Hoseki, another Chinese compound, unaccented is one. Gem, jewel, precious stone. That even more literally, because seki, as we have mentioned, is the Chinese reading for the kanji for ishi. So yeah, rock stone. Then we have the possessive particle no. So yeah, because of that, that also modifies the noun, which is again, yeah, it's the kakera we have already seen. So yeah, here it's saying it's implied definitely a copula at the end. It's a fragment of a gem, jewel, precious stone. And before it, then we have, well, we can add also before that a pretty fragment of gem that shines with, in English, then we could adapt it, a red glitter. Yeah, no, in Japanese we have technically two distinct adverbs. The glittering with the onomatopoeia and then the red, but yeah, then in English better to combine them to avoid issues, I'd say. But yeah, last but not least, it says what it actually does. Shoppu de takaku ureru. And yeah, first we have shoppu. We have already seen it in this very series. Shop from English. Notice the doubling of the consonant, like in English. Additional U, but that's the usual. Accented, like in English, so the shop. Particle de, so in at, so at the location in which the action of the verb takes place. With most verbs, with verbs of staying, like we have seen iru, aru. We use the particle ni instead. Yeah, here, de. Takaku, from takai. The adjective, which means high, first and foremost, the fundamental meaning. And then by extension, expensive, so yeah, high priced. Here we drop the e, add ku to make the corresponding adverb. And so to modify the following verb. Ureru. Technically, first and foremost, comes from the verb uru. Unaccented, to sell. Other extended meanings, but that those don't interest us for now. There is also ureru, to sell well, or better, ureru unaccented. Uru is the transitive form of the verb. Ureru is the intransitive one. Again, notice that one in U and the other in Eru. The one in Eru was made to have the other, unfortunately, not always transitive and intransitive respectively, but also the other way around. It depends on if the verb in U was transitive or intransitive, then the one in Eru is the other one. It's worth mentioning, though, that technically uru, verb, godan verb. So we could change the u in e and then add ru to make the potential form of the verb. So yeah, it could be ureru, technically also can sell. Here I suspect it's simply the intransitive more simply. But yeah, so here it's saying anyway, regardless, it sells the intransitive at shops in general, so I'd say plural in that sense, for a high price. Yeah, literally, we have the adverb in Japanese, yeah, in English then we have to adapt it for a high price, let's say. So yeah, not found in shops because of that, yeah. Wouldn't make sense to sell you something that you sell to the shops. So yeah, we have checked this part here. Of course, we start getting more wild Pokemon here. Okay. I'm kind of tempted of starting using the repels, considering also a certain something. We might do so actually, because I prefer that not being active at a later part. So yeah, we'll use one of them. Yeah, we have checked its description since we wanted to use them, so yeah, I used one. Although, considering that we have these, we should then switch around. I said, well, maybe not straight up Bulbasaur anyways. So when we encounter a trainer, at least we start with weaker Pokemon of us. Oh boy, we don't have many potions. We'll wait a little more then. As a reminder, we should have checked it, the description of the potions. We'll avoid explaining it now anyway. It is 20, so the basic potion, so yeah. Okay, so we have checked this one. Okay. Okay, we have these sets of this ladder then. I'm thinking based on the map. Because I feel like I might be... Okay, no, this is correct. I noticed that, yeah, here it says this we haven't seen before. Since we haven't used a repel before, yeah, it says here, spray no koka ga kireta. And yeah, so spray from English, spray. Let me quickly check the accent. I think we have seen it before also because of that NPC using it. And yeah, as I remember that it was weird, and yeah, it is not like in English, spray in English. Here in Japanese, the accent moves on the pu, so spure, low, high, low, low. The U of the su is very hard if at all as usual. Possessive particle, no. Koka, effect. This we have seen before. It's Chinese compound accent on the first mora. Subject particle ga. And then kireta from kireru. The verb which First and foremost would actually be the intransitive form of kiru, which means to cut. So it would be then to be cut, and then by extension to break, to snap in general. But yeah, one of its extended meanings is to wear out. So in our case, actually, also to run out, then to be exhausted. And yeah, like in our case here, ru verb with and verb. So yeah, we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, and then add ta to make the ta for past form of the verb. So yeah, the effect of the spray has run out, has been exhausted. So that. Yeah, we have that above. We have to tackle this trainer first. Okay, I actually switch around again. Let's send Paris for some experience. I got another Team Rocket, even though from the back this time. Also, you can hear based on the music. This one says, Ore tachi wa daiji na shigoto o shiteru n da. And yeah, first and foremost, we have ore tachi, which comes from ore, on its own, first person singular pronoun, I. This one made more language, at the very least considered rough, if not straight up arrogant, unaccented. And then we had tachi, which, as we have seen, is the fundamental pluralizing suffix in Japanese. And as we have seen, the rule for tachi is that the accent then the accent is before tachi itself. So in our case here, from ore, which was an accent, we get ore tachi. The accent is on the re, low, high, low, low. So yeah, then we topi patko wa, so yeah, as for us then. Then we have daiji. Chinese compound. The dai is the kanji we have already studied for big. Ji, I can mention, even though we haven't studied it yet, it's the kanji for koto, so thing as in matter and so on. Here with the Chinese reading, of course, it's a Chinese compound. Accent on the first mora, this one, the second most common accent for those, daiji. So literally from big thing, matter. Yeah, you will get this na adjective, as can be seen, we have the na, for important, serious, crucial, and so on, valuable, precious. Yeah, the fundamental meaning, I'd say, important. Yeah, the na adjective, here we have the na because it's followed by the noun which it modifies, and the noun is shigoto. Shigoto is a compound. This one is strictly Japanese compound, technically. The shi is technically the Chinese reading of a certain kanji, even though I think it's actually most likely comes actually from suru. Suru, as we have seen, its continuative form is shi, so it would be the corresponding noun, also used then in compounds. Regardless, then we have goto, from koto, the one we have mentioned, thing as in matter. Yeah, it's the same kanji again, but with the strictly Japanese reading in this case. Second word, part of the compound of strictly Japanese origin, gets voiced. So yeah, becomes go because of that. We had the duck 10. Or nigori, if you want to call it also like that. So yeah, the two commas on top of the kana. So yeah, literally, even more so with that she considering simply to do. Thing to do. So yeah, it actually means work, job. Straight up also someone's work or job. But yeah, also then simply as in a task and so on. And yeah, so there job here, or task you could say, object particle O. And yeah, technically she got an accent, by the way. One of those that become compounds that are unaccented, compounds of strictly Japanese origin which are unaccented. Can be turned into a verb by adding suru, which is the case here, although we have that object particle in the middle, showing even more so, and yeah, this can happen. And yeah, because strictly speaking, yeah, when we add suru, we still do the noun, in our case do the work, job, and then we could say simply to work also and so on. But yeah, well, suru here is the form ste, and then because we have ru, a contraction of iru, so yeah, again, continuing action or state. Last but not least, we have nda, yeah, it's no da again, only with the contraction of the no. And yeah, so with this, nda, this is the usual, so yeah, the translation is as for us. The fact is that we are doing an important job. And then it says Kodomo wa ouchi e kaeri na. And yeah, first and foremost we have kodomo. The term actually used nowadays more often for children, instead of using only ko on its own, to avoid also confusion. Kodomo, technically speaking, becomes a compound. Yeah, we have ko from that, and then this tomo, which means companion, follower, and so on. But yeah, so yeah, it means it's child, children, unaccented. Topic part go wa. Then we have this ouchi from uchi. In this case, the one which means still unaccented, because there's another one with the other kanji, which is definitely the original meaning, simply inside, within, and so on. This one is one's house by extension. From the uchi, that's also the opposition of between uchi and soto in honorifics in Japanese, but we'll see that again when it shows up. Uchi, so one's house, one's home. Here also with the honorific prefix o, so even clearer that it's someone else. It's the one we're speaking to. That it's their house. Then we have the particle e, written as he, to, towards, so direction. And then we have the verb kaeru, kaerina, from kaeru. Yeah, this one is the accented one, definitely based on the context, which means to return, to come, go, home, and so on. Accented, so becomes actually on the ka, because ae becomes a diphthong. Verb colon verb, despite being in eru again, another one of these, so we can change the u into i to make the continuative form. Require then to add this na, which is actually a contraction of nasai. Nasaru is the honorific, more specifically respectful form of the verb suru, to do. technically we have studied this kanji, even though nowadays it's not used to the kanji. But yeah, Nasaru, verb, and verb. We make its conjugative form, which becomes Nasai. Because originally we would change the U into I, as usual, Nasari. But then the R fell, as happens to some of these honorific verbs, so only they remained. And then implied, usually, I must say, so from mass, the auxiliary, which is used to make the polite form of verbs. We change the U into E to make the its imperative form. So yeah, imperative, polite verb, but actually with the honorific then Nasaru. So yeah, technically here quite honorific, but yeah, also clearly considering the context. Because it's mocking us, because yeah, as it says, yeah, as for kids, as for children, they talking to us, they go in English we have to adapt it, they have to or they should go back home, but yeah, no, here in Japanese there's an implied imperative, even though in honorific speech, but yeah, so no, clearly mocking us. Yeah, it will defeat this grant relatively quickly, hopefully. I will send Pikachu here. This is not an issue. We'll use our usual electric type move. Even got a critical, nice. Sends an Ekans. Okay, for Ekans, we don't have any really good options. Although, okay, I'll try this. It's not the best technically. If it were our Pokemon only grass, it would be bad, assuming it has a poison move. But no, we are also poison, so it's not an issue. I think we have seen that ability, but we'll ignore it for now anyway. It will show up in the future if we haven't. I am doing this to slightly heal while then attacking. Yeah, because for this poison attack, so with Bulbasaur we're also avoiding getting poisoned. Oops, okay, made a mistake. Tried using that again, yeah, no. We go for an offensive move then. I try simply tackle here. Got a critical, nice. Oh yeah, by doing it this way, by the way, we're also slightly healing Bulbasaur this way instead of having to use a potion, so yeah. Better for us also in this sense. Oh yeah. Not fully, but almost fully. Nice. Level 15. Wants to learn Doku no Kona. I don't remember if I've seen it before, I'll quickly mention it. It's pretty short. Doku we have seen so much in this very series. Means poison. Accent on the Duskmora on its own. Shouldn't be here because of the following possessive particle. Becomes an accent because of that. And then Kona. think we might have actually seen it. No, okay, don't think so. But yeah, Kona means powder. Kona accent on the last mora. In other contexts also than flower, because of that. But yeah, more in general, I say powder. Yeah, so also flower or dust. But yeah, so poison powder. Yeah, it's pretty sure that's the translation also in English. Yeah, wants to learn that, but I have all those. Had all those moves and actually choose save that. We check it another time. I remove simply Nakigoe. Yeah, definitely prefer. And let me actually save also that. Okay, yeah. I've saved these because I don't think we have seen that before, but yeah, definitely not doing that today. Wants also to learn a sleep powder, but between the two, I honestly prefer sleep powder for certain reasons. Honestly, yeah, we'll replace the Doku no Kona. Yeah, here Nemuri Gona, I didn't mention it, but yeah, from Nemuru to sleep. Verb and verb, we can change the U into I, unaccented Nemuru, to make the corresponding noun, the continuative form, and so the corresponding noun, so Nemuri, still unaccented, luckily, as usual for the rules, sleep, sleeping. And yeah, then we had Kona, but yeah, straight up, without the possessive particle in the middle, so then it becomes voiced, because it becomes a compound, as already mentioned. Can confirm the accent, unfortunately, of this. Yes, I can somehow find it. Quickly check. No, I don't see it as a suffix, at least here. Can confirm it. Oh yeah, so defeated. Last but not least, yeah, here the Grant says Naka Naka Yaruna. Naka Naka is technically Naka, the one for inside, middle, and so on. We've even studied kanji repeated twice, which is usually a way to make the corresponding plural. It's one of the ways to make the plural, to specify the plural in Japanese. In this case, it actually becomes, from most certainly actually that, there is also technically that as one of the meanings, simplistic, then again middle. But nowadays it's usually used as an adverb or an adjective. Yeah, more adverb usually, which means very, considerably, and so on. Unaccented, by the way, so be careful, unlike Naka on its own. Then we have the verb yaru, a colloquial form of suru. Still means to do, also has several extended meanings, but yeah, this one simply to do. Then last but not least, there's a final particle na. Here I'd say the one has more of an exclamation than anything else, but it's a confusing final sentence particle. But yeah, so here is saying, yeah, you are doing considerably implied well. Cioè, with that we have finished this fight. And funny enough, again as usual, we'll check out what this trainer has to say. Actually, I move. Okay. We'll ignore this. Notice that unfortunately, yeah, I could have waited and should have waited slightly here for to catch a Paras, because yeah, we have higher level ones here, but yeah. Yeah, I moved one above just to see that there's still the item there. Yeah, we'll save. So yeah, we'll check what this Rocket Grant has to say after the fight next time, and yeah, we'll get that item and then go back. Yeah, we can close the game here. Just once more. Doesn't matter, but yeah, just to be sure. And yes, so today we continued Mount Moon. Actually made a good amount of progress this time. So yeah, next time, which for Pokémon FireRed will be, unless plans change, on Monday as usual, we continue Mount Moon. We start by talking to that Rocket Grant, get the item, leave this, and so backtrack to then continue exploring this and getting closer and closer to exiting it from the side, the other side. But yeah, in between, of course, we also have on Sunday, as been saying, stream mostly just for fun, which should be, well, it will be Sonic Racing Crosswords, because there's a festival, so yeah, we'll take part in that even more, so it's one of the, for the paid DLC, so there's also a new track. So yeah, these are our plans as usual. And yeah, see you next time.